Good
Caitlin,
morning.
not Shalicia.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hey,
Hey, Caitlin.
It's Natalie.
oh, I don't know of a Caitlin here.
Aloha.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a photo, Caitlin.
Good morning, everyone. We're live on YouTube. I might have to mute one. There we go. Mint Corgi, I did have to mute you just so you know. All right, just kind of getting set up for the morning here. I'm getting ready to go and make a few trades at the open. Got about 10 minutes to the bell here. It's a Friday. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of things first. So, looking at our 1 hour chart, we got our measured move. We knew this consolidation was good, and it did give us a fake breakout. It ranged back. I mean, it went all the way down outside of that. But in general, it's set up for our accumulation, and the measured move was pretty easy to see. We had a move here. That was your pullback and accumulation, and overnight we gapped out of that sucker and hit the target. Pretty interesting because it was really choppy and really difficult to trade yesterday. Well, today's a 0 day, so we'll have a little bit smoother price action likely, and ideally we'll have some trading range to get into. So the opening range is going to probably give us a setup to trade within that range, and I'm thinking it's going to be inside this control bar here from back on let's see, 9 o'clock on the 8:30. And sorry, I had to cough. I didn't want to cough in you guys' ears. I'm thinking we're probably going to see some range in there. If not, we can break out and certainly play in another range. But typically on 0 days, especially Fridays, they tend to set up a range and at least give you an idea of a range to trade in most of the time. Yes, Mint Corgi. I put her on mute on my end, but if you want to do the same, just right click on her name down there. There we go. No problem. I'm going to do both. So I'm going to pull up my grid for stocks in a moment here. And I think I'll probably end up focusing on SPY a bit, but there's a couple others that are moving around, and I wanted to visit those sectors too. So let's have a look. Let me get my Webull screen going here. I do. Yeah, absolutely. I am happy to. Let me get that going here. If I can get the chart going here. My Webull app is doing an update, so hang on. There we go. Now let's pop the chart out. Detached chart. Excellent. Let me drag this over here. Kind of getting back into my setup here. And what I'll do is I'll take and put this underneath the Tradovate app. I'll run that 10-second chart. I'll watch the 1 and 5 on SPY and use that as a way to trade my futures. Definitely love trading some futures, guys. It's my bread and butter lately. When the market's choppy like this, especially, it is an absolute awesome opportunity to trade futures. There we go. Let me put this up in a custom grid. For some reason, Webull went and updated, and it closed off all my settings, so I need to fix that. So I'll go and fix that after I get everything up here. At least it kept my drawings. Pardon me. I'm trying not to cough in everybody's face, but sometimes it happens. All right, let's see here. Do Bollinger Bands. Oh my goodness. Everything's all goofy. Yeah, I guess I can use a blue line here. See if I can make that both in about the same view. I like to just keep general lines on the upper and lower. I don't want it to be too colorful where we can't tell what we're looking at. And let's see here. This we need to change. Whoops. To a 5 period. Or 8 period, sorry. And then this one we'll do a 200. Run both of those. Sorry, running through Webull and resetting all my settings here is not the most exciting thing I get to do, but that looks like enough. And then we want my other favorite, FSTO. And I don't like yellow with that, I like red. And this one we'll do a blue. That looks a little nicer, yeah. All right, now love how it puts that sub chart up as like so big you can barely see the main chart. There we go. Now we're cooking with Earl. Sometimes if you don't mute your headset, it'll be a little funny on that Mint Corgi. Yeah, it's nothing like having an intimate conversation with somebody while your mic's hot and you're live on all of our platforms here. All right, there we go. I'll keep Ford down here in the bottom corner, and we'll definitely watch that. And Ford is great, just by the way, just to kind of let everybody know. Ford is an awesome options trading machine for those of you with smaller accounts where you're really going to have to be cautious about risk because you don't want to blow up your account. The option contracts are relatively cheap. I mean, like a month out at the money, like $40 a contract. And the percentage swings when those go in and out of the money is pretty good. The delta is pretty nice on that. Liquidity is nice. The spread is like a penny wide. It trades very similar to what you would trade volume-wise on SPY options, but it gives you a lot less time decay and gives you a lot lower theta. And the gamma on it is reasonable, where you're not going to be, getting your face ripped off if you're in the wrong direction. It's just going to be a slow grind. So I don't know that I would trade overnight strangles on it, although you could. The delta at the money is a little bit higher than I'd like for trading strangles on forward, but it can be done. The idea with that is if you want to roll it out to probably about a month, and you're probably going to look at about buck or more a contract at that rate, you can leg into a strangle and just roll the legs off and swing trade the legs in and out for a couple weeks, and then roll it out again another month. That's definitely a strategy that you can use to just generate income on the choppiness of forward. And it's long-term chart, pretty well sideways, pretty well manageable for now. But if this thing does break down, it's got quite a bit of setup to run down in the bearish mode. It can also set up for a bullish move. We have, depending on market sentiment, Ford can do some stuff. It's setting up to where it'll either retrace everything back from this bullish trend here, or if the market just suddenly shrugs off all of this headwind and takes off, it's got a measured move to the bullish side. I mean, it can go all the way to like 18.5 bucks, just looking at this measured move here. So plenty of potential for great trades on Ford. And at the same time, you can control a pretty good chunk of it for relatively low amounts of capital. Oh wow, MasterCard is freaking out. Sweet. Let me get that going on the daily chart. I was looking at a swing trade setup on MasterCard here, and it's looking pretty bullish above that 8 period. And I think we got range probably to get to maybe 344.50, somewhere around that neighborhood by next week. And just kind of setting up to be in a range after that. It might get a little bit more bullish later on, but we'll have to see what we get. SPY is just opening up, like just capped up right at the bell there. Insane. We got range on SPY all the way up to about 406. Looking at our, let's see here. I'll go to the 1 hour chart. Whoops. You know what? I gotta fix that too. I'm just all out of sorts this morning. Yeah, I am. I'm on Zoom and YouTube right now. Let's see here, 2 hour, 4 hour, weekly, monthly. I don't need a monthly. All right, there we go. Like I was saying, we got range to about 406 there. And then I was showing off that 1 hour chart on futures earlier. Let me turn the lights off here. We had that measured move from yesterday where I lined out the channel. You can't see it, or maybe a 15-minute chart will show it. There we go. So here's your setup. So here's your trend. Here's your accumulation. All right, there's a much longer measured move in play here. Let's go a little further left. Had a diamond bottom here. Running that trend line up, it kind of falls right into where we're at about now. Turn the lights back on. Lower trend, open right in that area. Let me go get the futures chart woken up here too, because I just totally missed a big trade. There we go. Get that up on the grid here. And I'm going to keep an eye on forward. I'm going to... Oh, yeah, jeez. I get Zoom and Discord confused anymore. I'm in Discord, but not Zoom. No worries. Sorry about that, man. I've been a head case all week. Yeah, no kidding. That big fireball. No, no, no. I got it too. Like, I open my window and it's like, BWOM! I mean, ah. I caught a Yeah, I caught a bunch of his morning briefing, but I wasn't able to pay as much attention as I'd like because I was getting prepared for the market open myself. Let me get that chart back up. There we go. So in our 1 hour chart, we had this measured move. So here was that trend that we were watching. Here is our accumulation, and then there's our breakout. As choppy as it is, and as ranged as it was yesterday, we did finally manage to overnight run to the target on the measured move. Pretty easy setup, but man, that chop was just brutal. Very tough to trade. So what can we expect in the future? Well, we're kind of at a point where we're rolling out of a rounding bottom here, and we've got either an extension all the way up to that 4060 area or 406 on the SPY chart. And I would expect either a big pullback there or a reversal. So definitely be on your toes for any situation that can arrive on that. Let me get back to that 10-second chart so I can scalp some of this eventually. I'd like to see it range today, but I don't know that we're going to get range today. Yeah. I had a couple of nice little opening trades this morning. Wow, man, 12 bucks. Oh, 375, man. Just playing around in the chop in the pre-market. Here we go. Measure move setting up now. So we got your trend here, pull back trend. Target's going to be that Globex high if this continues to run. Yep. Yep. Measure move is going to be typical of first trend, pull back, and then you just measure the length of that first leg and stack it up. Now, there's kind of some rules to pay attention to here. It can make a half measured move where you get half of that leg. So it's important to mark that out if you're drawn on your chart. Figure out about what the range is from the break. So here we had what, roughly 40.28 to not huge, 40.32. So it'd be a $4 move from the break. Here's your break at 40.35, so it'd probably be like 40.39. Yeah, pretty much half measured move right there, already done. Broke over. Now we're testing support, and what'll happen? Exactly, that's what we're looking at. So rising channel, 50% retracement. Actually, from the break, that doesn't quite make a 50% typically. It'll go just short of it. So like 40.32 would have been a target on that, just on the break. But I mean, catching this would be really, really tricky. You got a few spinners here giving you a sign it was going to pull back. But look at your 1 minute chart. I mean, it was gapped up out of the upper band. There was really not much telling you that it was going to pull back all the way to a 50%. But look, now we're sitting right up on that 8 period. That's where I'm going to watch for some action. So if I'm seeing the 8 period break 20 period on the 10-second chart, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to start trending down, because now price is back on top of the 8 period, see? So put a bar through the 20 period, and you get the continuation from this. So we might come back up. We're going to test resistance at about 40.40. We get north of that, we'll go to the target, 40.45. Might even extend to 40.49 just based on the measured move height. Sweet. Oh man. Right. Yeah, we've got this accumulation starting to change here, so we're starting to wedge out. Let me draw this. No. Check this out though. Let me, well, it gets better. Yes. That's all right. No. Definitely worthy of a moment of silence. Even the market took a moment of silence for her yesterday. We had that little, that weird thing, like you said yesterday, you were watching the chart, and all of a sudden it just sort of hung out and went sideways, and you're like, something going on here, what's going on? And then you caught the news article. Oh. So, you kind of can take the chart and like relate it to, watching the Matrix code. I mean, you watch it for long enough and you can tell when something's going on in the world. And you may not know exactly what, but you'll know there's something coming. And this is a diamond top, dude. Watch this. This is going to roll down. But bam. Now, diamond tops are kind of neat. So most of the time you'll get tracement back to support, and then it will bounce there and run the other way. Sometimes they'll just be a diamond top reversal or triple top reversal and just break down and retrace the entire previous trend. So your support area is going to be telling you what you should do with this trade. My drawing tools are not handy enough there. Hang on. Maybe if I move this up a little bit. So I still want to see what's going on with Ford. Okay, so your first support zone is going to be right here, your lowest low. All right, didn't quite hold that. So now we got the fake out, break down, but we can't trust a bullish move until we break the previous angular resistance. And if it remains bearish or continues to run that trend, your target will probably be down here about 40.27-ish. So this is where you wait for the setup to shake out and then you trade the break. Yeah, SPY's kind of rolling. We're just about to drop a bar underneath that 8 period, so we could retrace back to the 20 period briefly. Might even get half that gap, which would be about 401.60. In fact, I'm gonna just a moment here.
Credit card debt is a challenge many of us face.
Yeah. Yep. On Financial Juice, it was just kind of vague about stuff. All right, here we go. Apparently I have something. What do you think about Tradeovate similar with TOS? I love Tradeovate, but I have zero experience with TOS. I've never, every time I wanted to open an account, I would like hear horrible things about it. So I'd be like, I'm happy with my Webull account. So, but then I started trading futures. Sig actually talked me into it. So he was telling me like, most of his personal trading, which he doesn't trade while he's live streaming, which I understand because it's very difficult. But he does trade on his own time, and he typically will trade the probably that transition, not quite like the 6 o'clock open, although sometimes he will, 6 p.m. our time open. But the most part, he was going into pre-market, probably around the 4 or 5 a.m. area, and basically just scalping that action in there, in whether it was the MES, MNQ, whatever, running small accounts on Tradeovate. And the idea was start with a small amount, or a minimum to have ability to trade 1 or 2 contracts at a time. Run those accounts. When they reach a certain point, I think he was cutting off at like either 1,500 or 1,800, something like that, somewhere under 2,000. Starting with like 250 or 500, run that up and distribute that income to a longer term investment account where he would be running complex options trades, selling spreads, the whole 9 yards. He'd be running that on his bigger accounts and just simply day trading his futures accounts. So then he was telling me about this, and I'm like, dude, I'm sold. So it just took my day trading to the next level. I mean, I was scalping penny stocks at the time, and I would scalp SPY options over and over and over again, and just have, I'd be sticking screenshots of like 100-200% returns over and over and over again trading the SPY options in the chat here with Bullish Bears, and Sid comes out and he's like, "Man, you're quick. What are you trading?" I'm like, "I'm looking at the 1 and 5 minute charts and just scalping SPY options." He's like, "Dude, you would make an incredible futures trader," and I'm proving that to myself now. It's been nuts. So just the kind of thing where it's like, I mean, you get into futures and it's just like everything just sort of clicks. All the stuff you learned scalping pennies, day trading SPY options, whatever you were looking at, it all comes together in that point, and then you're just like, what have I been doing with my life? So everything I do on Bullish Bears anymore is going to have a futures chart, whether it's on screen or not. I'm going to be, running that. I don't necessarily trade it live as much as I should because it's difficult to sit here and talk to everybody and take, profitable trades. Oh man, that measured move was right there. I could have nailed that. Do you see that bar spinner bar? Bam! Nailed that bear target, dude. If I wasn't yapping, I would have shorted that right there and just scalped the crap out of that. Quite all right. But I'm here for you guys when I'm live. So if I'm doing this, if I'm trading it, I'm just trading it to trade it. So like I'm running, one MES contract at a time in front of everybody. That's cool. When the camera goes off and I can focus on what I'm doing, I'm either at this point I'm over $1,000 in this account. Started it last week with $100 on Monday. I'm at a point where I'm comfortable trading one ES contract at a time, and I can start compounding the crap out of that today. So I think probably in the second half of the day, that's exactly what I'll be doing. Yes. Oh yeah. And there's a 10-second VWAP right there. That's that purple line I have on my chart there in the top right corner. And look left. Look at the 1-minute chart on SPY. We tapped that 20 period. We were suspect that it was going to happen, and here we accumulated. Now we're going bullish. We're going to snap, possibly get the rest of that measured move to leg up to that 40-45 target. Nice. Oh, dude.
I saw it was going lower, and I said, well, it's going to hit that next shadow box. And then I looked, and I said, wait a minute. There's one of those little things I look for in on the 15, that little crinkle, that peak in the little valley. It's like a little, ramp or whatever, and it wicked right to it. That's an edge. Get it? That's an edge. Get it?
Absolutely.
That is an edge, and that and the VWAP bends. that I found. Those are just previous day VWAPs, and a lot of times they're linked up with they're a pivot point basically. It's another way to find the pivot.
There you go. Those of you checking us out live on YouTube right now, is my audio okay or is it echoing? 'Cause, and also tell me if you would, if it was echoing before I made an adjustment to bring my my system volume into this, because I'm wanting to be able to broadcast things people are saying to me on the Discord channel that we use for our members. So hopefully it's not echoing and feeding back on me.
Come on now. Yeah, Jeremy, all the stuff you're saying this morning, you say all the time. And sometimes, you're going through things really, you're very, very sharp and very fast in how you think. And so the more and more you listen to it, the more and more you catch it, the more and more I catch it. That's why I was having fun this morning when you were going over the MES, because I'm to the point now to where I know what you're going to say.
Nice. The student has become the master.
I don't know about that, but it's
I
great.
do.
It's great. Well, listen, it's great because you're, 50, this is simple to me. A 50% retracement. We look for descending and ascending wedges, diamond tops. I mean,
we love them
and
all.
then you can find all your levels on the chart. I marked all these levels out this morning, well, not all of those that you see. That's my chart nasty a little bit, but yeah, actually, all of those you see, I did mark out this morning. Never mind. I marked all those levels. Yeah, and it's right there on the chart.
Nice. I'm going to put out a tweet real quick so I can get our word of our YouTube channel going here. So if I'm staring down at my phone and being boring for you guys on YouTube, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to get the word out. We're going to get the world involved here and show everybody what we do and what we're about. Hopefully there's not a bunch of lens flare on my camera here. I think there is.
Yeah, I didn't know
There
you
we
were
go.
the photo bug either. I have a friend who's a photo bug.
Oh yeah,
Several friends who are photo bugs. Yeah.
I'm terrible at editing photos, but I love taking photos.
Yeah.
And
Let me go get my news up over here. I just like to have the news.
yeah, just the news. Just want the news.
I like the Bloomberg radio too.
Yes. Transpire. I'm trying to get some of our.
Yeah, I hear Glomer in the background. That's what we call her.
Yeah.
It's a the little dog. She looks like a freaking gremlin, and she sounds
Wait.
like
Before or
Glomer.
after you feed it after midnight?
After. Chinese crested. They look
Oh
like
man.
gremlins.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's a rescue that was fostered by somebody, and they left it alone with a pit bull, and the pit bull bit it in the head,
Oh man.
and did something, affected its spinal cord, so it couldn't walk. Feisty little dog though, just got more life in that little dog with no use of back legs whatsoever than dogs with 4 legs. Okay.
All right, getting a tweet out, throwing us on Facebook. We're gonna tell everybody that we're going live and we're doing stuff. We're gonna be bringing a lot more of this, so we're gonna take our live trade streams, although they'll be a bit delayed for YouTube. So like if you see me day trading and you're looking at your chart going, when did this happen? Well, it's gonna be about probably a 10-15 second delay on the YouTube channel. So
We are sideways.
we're doing this because we want to show you guys what we're about, how our community works, what we do, and well, I mean, yes, it's a marketing tool, but at the same time, we want to be able to change lives here. We teach people how to fish. We don't just go and copycat trade like a bunch of other groups do. I'm not going to name names. We will actually teach you how to do your own charting and make your own trades and make your own trade plans. And then we've got a wealth of many complex option strategies you can use. Even simple ones you can use while you're working a full-time job. You can use these just using limit orders to enter, limit orders to exit, that sort of stuff. That's what we're looking at, and that's what we do. We teach you how to fish so you can either do what I did, where I was supplementing my income for a while because mechanics weren't paid very well in Missoula, Montana. I'll get that right out there. I was supplementing my income so that my wife didn't have to work because I have 4 kids who are preemies. They require a lot of attention. And, if she would have had to get a job, my kids would have missed out on a lot of the support that they needed from having a parent at home. So that's what I did. I learned how to trade. I supplemented my income for many, many years. Eventually, I worked into becoming just part-time mechanic, and I was able to have an afternoon schedule so I could be here in the morning with the bullish bears and day trading and streaming. And before long, the flexibility was a little bit tight because I had to up and leave at like noon every day. Well, now more recently I went into just a sales and marketing job that was much more flexible to where I could have time to stay till like 2 o'clock if I wanted, whatever, and then just go work for a couple hours in the afternoon and call it a day. Before long, I didn't need to do that anymore either. That's where my transition into futures trading kind of just replaced all that income, and now it's like wife stays at home. She hits the gym 5 days a week for 4 hours a day, and just loving life, getting back in shape. And the kids are older now, and able to do a lot more things on their own with a little less support. And it's just been wonderful. So my life has changed. I want to pay that forward and help others change their lives. So that's why I'm here.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'm trying to catch up now because I'm part-time at what I do. So you've been an inspiration. It's certainly inspiring. You had a question from Gabriel.
Oh, I did. Gabriel, I'm scalping penny stocks and I want to change to futures. Where should I start? If you're good at scalping penny stocks and you've got price action down, Trade Obait's the way to go. The commissions are pretty cheap. You can get into that MES, and it's your margin's $55 a contract. You can just scalp little moves, little $5-6 moves over and over and over again, making those base hits on that 10-second chart like I do. Certainly do that with paper first. Get used to it, learn it.
He's got great paper.
Figure out the broker. The paper trading is exactly identical to the live trading, and essentially you can get in and out of trades so fast, and everything you learned scalping price action in penny stocks transitions right into futures. However, you can trade bullish and bearish. So when it's about to get its face ripped off or take a big dive after a setup, you can scalp those. I saw that one coming and I was yapping, missed the trade, but that's the kind of stuff you'll see trading the MES, and you could just nail those over and over and over again. And little, $5, $10, $15, $20 trades here and there. You start that account really low, like a couple $100, $250 is what I usually start with. And don't think about the money, don't think about the gains or anything, just trade the chart. And just all those little base hits add up, and before you know it, that account's over $1,000. You're like, wow, I'm doing great. So it really helps me pay the bills. So definitely, if you're getting good at price action and you want to move to the next step, that's where to go. And then at the same time, I mean, there's other things too. Like we've got a lot of people wanting to make some transitions into options scalping too, which is absolutely fine as well. And there's ways to do that where you can mitigate your risk. So if you're trading the MES, you got to know two things. One, the delta is fixed, so it's going to be a tick count. So every tick it moves, your value of your contract will move that amount every tick. Whereas options trading, if you're running in a low delta area where I am, they move a lot slower, but they move slower against you and exponentially faster as it gets into the money with you. So there's some skills to be had there for day trading options that you can use to mitigate risk. And that might also be something to transition into from penny stocks before you dive headfirst into futures. Give that a try to get a feel for it. And equities like Ford are great for that. Or if you want to run like a strangle strategy, SPY is awesome for that. So plenty of ways to go with that. I'm running out of breath.
Yeah, you're going, man. You're giving that information out.
That's what we're here for. Speaking of Ford, we're tapping off the 8 period. Let's see if we get beyond that 1567, 1568 resistance up ahead.
Man, everybody's a little weird right now.
Yeah.
Oh, we're breaking up a little bit. Let's
Yep.
see.
I,
Ooh,
I think we'll
look at
get
that.
that. I think we'll get that Globex high eventually. It's coming. This gap
404.28. It breaks that, and we got some room.
on that 1 minute chart, this gap is pretty simple. I mean, this is setting up accumulation. We break that resistance level, we'll get that measured move, and it stops right at 406.25.
Yeah, I got a volume profile at 405.98. That is above some pivots I have.
There we go.
We get to that Globex high. That's a pivot anyway. That's also, no, that Globex high. 404.06. You know what that is? That's a control bar.
Yeah, we were looking at that yesterday, actually.
That is a control bar. That's actually one from a 2-hour chart. Jeremy, those control bars, dude, if all you learn is flags and control bars,
Right.
really, I mean, if all you learn is bull flags and bear flags and control bars that are your price targets, and we just hit that 404.06, went right past it, hit it, and we look like we're going for 404.28 right now. You learn just that, and you can make trades.
Absolutely.
My best trades in penny stocks were I got in there, guys, and I don't recommend what I did. I just dove right in, and once I learned the flags, and Jeremy was in there teaching them too. I'd go in and I'd trade a flag. I'd see a flag, I'd see a pullback, I'd get in, I'd make $600-700. It's like wow, but I had a big account, so
Yeah.
there we go. Here comes the high.
Those flag scalps were just righteous, man. I used to love those.
Hello,
All right.
high.
Getting the word out, throwing it on
Hello,
YouTube,
high.
or throwing it on Facebook.
Good morning, Jen. Sorry, I overslept a little bit.
Oh, that's
Listen,
okay.
we don't want to hear that. You need to be getting up earlier. No.
Yeah, you got to get up and
I did too, but I got here right at the bell rang.
you got to scalp that worm, baby. I never did get a response. How am I sounding on YouTube? Anybody know? I just want to make sure I'm not feeding back because I don't want to have it. Like yesterday, my audio was screwed up. It was okay, audio
Get
okay,
rid of
no
that
echo.
right there.
Good
Bam.
deal. Thank you. Let's see,
Bye-bye.
Globetrotter. Thank you very much.
Bye.
And Jeremy, I downloaded Tradeovate last night and
Nice.
actually made $12.50 in virtual trading.
Good.
Awesome.
Virtual trading is great on Tradeovate. It is the best paper trading I've found.
You're doing
It was more of a guess trade, but I was
Yeah.
kind of trying to figure out because it went past the top Bollinger Band, so I was hoping it was going to come back down.
Nice.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. It's once you find your niche, once you find your
404.53.
your setup that you like to trade, it becomes it becomes like second nature, or you can do it instinctively. Let me make sure I got the right link up here. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I was surprised how easy it is to trade on Tradeovate. It's just click, and you're done.
But you got to be
Love that.
careful because you breathe on it and then it goes.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, that report must have been good.
There we go.
What was the report?
Or whatever was coming out at the news at 10 o'clock.
Here comes 406, baby.
Wholesale
404.75.
inventory.
Rolling.
Wholesale inventory. Yeah, this is where the econ matters. I mean, yeah, econ, not necessarily fundamentals, but the global fundamentals matter. How's that?
Bam, we broke the Globex high. We're pushing 40.50 now.
Yeah, 404.90.
I think 40.60 is where we pause.
404.90 is, well, let me just take a picture. That's another VWAP band. I'm going to have to do a whole series on that.
All right, let me get just a
Look
second.
at that pretty 5-minute chart.
There we go.
Let me holler at a dog. Not holler, but.
All right. Sorry if I'm not responsive on my Facebook account, guys. I'm just kind of putting the phone down. Let's get to trading. Opening range has done everything we wanted it to do.
Sitting there yelling at the dog, come on in the room. I hear it whining, and it's the freaking cat chasing my reflection of the light off my phone. Welcome to my house, yo.
All right, what was the other trade I was looking at yesterday? In phase energy. So let's have a look at that real quick.
I just put up in chat my little chart with some levels there. If folks want to see them, you can ask me questions about them.
So
I
much,
have color code. I have color codes.
much like our futures chart was setting up, and our SPY chart was setting up the measured moves like we have.
Sorry.
We're looking at energy sector, and we're looking for the best possible swing trade setups we can get. We put this out in our alert the other day, and what we're seeing is we had this nice accumulation, this breakout, consolidated into a basic support area. After it broke resistance, resistance became support. So we're setting up for a measured move, and if you look at the height of that from the break, let's say about 215 to 280, 290, that's quite the move ahead if this continues to run. So we're looking at swing trading end phase energy, EMPH, to the next leg. And let me tell you, that extension can get way up there. Just kind of looking at the weekly chart, it's got that potential. There's no pivots here. There's no price history of it being this high ever. But on momentum, when we see these measured move setups, they're usually pretty clean. And it's usually going into a flag pattern like we do on penny stocks on a 1 minute chart, same deal. You get a big move, consolidation, and you most of the time will get an equal second move. I always aim for a 50% measured move breakout, and it nearly wicked to that with yesterday's price action. I had a target, I think 325. Let me double check that. Now I got to get numbers.
Get your numbers.
Get my numbers. Here we go.
Let's see what we got here happening. Is that a 2 minute? Yes.
Let's see. EMPH. Here we go. Breaking out and set up for a possible measured move to 330. Momentum could take it higher. There are no pivots here. So we dang near tagged that 330 yesterday. I mean, we got to 324.80 something, and that was pretty sweet. But we got a little chance for a pullback here where we get an evening star pattern, or we like to call this the Busby, where you'll test that 8 period or maybe slightly below it, probably a touch to like 395 to 390, 395 to 397, somewhere in that neighborhood. Watch for that to pull back, and then watch for a continuation to run back up. And typically the quick day trade move would be trading the height of the third bar in the evening star. So if you're looking at the daily chart, that range would be estimated between about 295 and 310 to 312 extension. So you got plenty of room for a day trade on that. Just watch this for a reversal. I'm going to look for a double bottom reversal on the 5 minute chart to get long on that thing, and I'm going to put some swing trade positions together, probably looking at debit spreads is my style. But
Dang it. Look at that.
just something I want to put out there for y'all.
Yeah, I like your that's what I want to learn next. You know, you started futures and you left us in the penny stock room.
I know.
I cried.
I know.
But
there was
I
much
followed
sadness.
you. With much sadness. There was much wailing and gnashing of teeth. No, don't take my Jeremy from me. And you did that at the time, and I was just starting to learn options, and that was about 5 months ago, Jeremy.
Yeah, time flies, man.
That was about 5 months ago. Actually, about four more accurate, I think. Because 5 would have been April, and I started at the end of April in options. And
better lighting, Mike?
yeah, and the futures are the penny stocks is where you start if you want to do the futures.
Absolutely.
Because the options, and I will say this from my personal experience, options you can't do a stop loss. But you can in futures. But you need to really learn your price action in penny stocks for futures, because a future stop loss can be a lot of money.
Yes.
I mean, you put in a $5, 4-tick stop loss. Well, you can get stopped out really quick that way, and you lose $5 a lot of times. And if you don't put in a stop loss, you could blow your whole account up if it's not a lot of money. If price just all of a sudden does one of those big red candles and you're bullish, or big green candle and you're red and you're bearish, and you don't have a stop loss in there, and it wicks, man, it blows your margin a little account up quick. So,
Yeah, you
penny
got to be
stocks
on the ball.
is the way to go, and trading those volatile penny stocks, and learning how price works. Because the thing about penny stocks is you're going to get those big. Most of the time, it's pump and dump, and you're going to get those big pump ups like right now in the morning, and then they're going to dump and just either like fall down and fade, but they'll come back in the afternoon, and you can learn those bearish patterns really well. And then when you get into the futures, you can be a bear.
Absolutely.
So you can go up and you can go down.
Somehow I have a comment here. Oh, so if you guys wouldn't mind, when you comment in the Discord channel, throw it in the stocks options futures chat. Let's see. Thank you for Strangle article. It was good to read. Awesome. Yeah, that is the simple version of trading strangles, and it's leaving a bunch of the math out. But it's like you don't necessarily need to know all that math to trade a strangle. You can just really figure out where your happiest moment of delta is going to occur and go with that. You don't have to play with too many other numbers except for expiration time. I like to go, if I'm doing a SPY strangle, I like to try and go a little in that 3 to 5 day range to expiration. But if I'm going to do, a strangle on an equity or something that I know is going to move big, but I'm not sure what the direction is, in that case, I would typically go a little closer to the money. I'm going to follow the delta somewhere between like SPY would be like 0.06 to 0.08, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then equity delta, depending on the equity and what the price range is, you're going to change that number quite a bit. Probably closer to like a 0.3 to 0.3 to 0.4 is a pretty sweet spot for running a strangle on larger other equities. It's really going to be a rather different animal trading equities with that particular strategy. So ideally, it's better for stuff like SPY, QQQ, IWM, that type of thing. It just trades completely different with equities, and it becomes at a point where the delta is high enough to where it can cost you a little bit if you keep it open too long and that sort of thing. And it's not as likely to be able to close the whole position for a profit on a big move. So delta is key. All right, where am I? There we go. Okay. And if you guys out there in YouTube land want to find that article, you can do a quick Google search. You can go with options strangle strategy, bullish bears. Type that in your Google bar, and it'll pull it up. It's an article I wrote some time ago. I used to do a lot of ghostwriting for bullish bears before I became a moderator, so I put a lot of articles together, and my intent was to put those articles together because I get a lot of people asking me these questions on complex things like that. And it's like I don't always have time to explain it, whether it's in type chat or in voice. So it's easier for me just to pop a link to the article in there. Here you go. Read here, study. I'm going to be happy to be here and instruct and walk through stuff, but like sometimes I don't have a whole lot of time to answer long, lengthy questions like that. So I just pop an article link up. It makes it a lot easier for me. All right, looks like we're rolling down. We're not going to quite make that 406 pivot. Let's see. We got 405.23. Where did that number come from? That is going to be a control bar. I'll show you how to find those in a second. It's going to be let's see here. 15-minute chart. Probably looking at that one right there. Let's see. Nope. There it is.
Yeah, I was able to.
That one right there. Let's see. It's the gap.
I was able to start my own.
There it is. Whoops. Yeah, you got a lot of feedback coming back that way. I think that was that Frozen Golem?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, there you are. You were getting some feedback from the it looked like it was delayed, so it might have been from the YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, I muted as soon as I came in.
Gotcha. All right, there's that gap right there. So you're looking at on the 15-minute chart. this 4 o'clock gap right here from the 26th there. That is where your limit stopped, right about 405.50. Pretty dang close. Always look left for your control areas, but when you see these gaps, know that price is very likely to play in those gaps. So, whoops, I moved my pivot. One of these days I'll remember to lock my drawings.
I have fun with that on TOS.
Yeah.
A lot to learn on TOS with that still.
And I forget that on Webull I can just right click
Complex.
and
Yeah.
hit reset chart. That'll take me back anyway. Let me get back to a 5-minute chart here because we're seeing a little bit of a breakdown. Ah, there's it. There it is, the angular resistance here. And that was from yesterday's action. How did I come up with that? Oh yeah, it's an extension from the diamond. That wasn't really a true diamond because you didn't have 2 legs of range in there. But you can still see, let me show it, I probably have it on the 1-minute chart a little more plain to see. There it is. So the 5-minute chart didn't really show a true diamond, but if you just run trend lines in the right spot, you'll see them everywhere. And oftentimes when I find those, and I've been talking about this for a better part of a month now when I've done my my SPY analysis that we do on YouTube daily if we can. Essentially, you get those diamonds and you just run the trend lines, extend the crap out of them, and dude, they make sense later almost every time. And here it is right here. Ran that length. Let me make that a little more stand outy. There we go.
Stand outy?
Stand outy. Make it a different color.
I like those names. I like coming up with our own language. Thank you.
Yeah. We slang all the time over here.
Oh, littles, get in your bed.
There we go.
Okay.
We're going to go and attack that angular resistance one more time, it looks like. And if we get through it, we'll hit that 406 pivot, darn it.
405.72, control bar from 2-hour chart. Date, please. 8/30/22. I'm going to put a picture up of that. I'm going to put my chart nasty stuff up.
Yeah, do it. There we go. All right.
See my
This
charts.
in-phase energy, even though it's still in a bearish trend on the open here, watch for a little double bottom pattern to start setting up here. They can be skewed in a downward angle like this and still be relevant. And the idea is you want to see low 1, high 1, low 2, and then the resistance point is going to be your high 1. So you always want to put, some kind of marking there because it can sometimes take a little time to play out. Let me draw that. Looks like right at 307. Close enough. And anyway, with the double bottom, you look for a breach of resistance. Typically it'll pull back and probably dip just below it to the control zone of, like, this is an evening star here. So like probably 303.50 would be the pullback after a breach of resistance, and then watch for accumulation on that 8 period after that fact to see if it's going to breach that resistance one more time. And the trade is the second breach of resistance, and then you trade from that resistance break up to the next control bar. And this being on a 5-minute chart, that target would be about 312. You just look at the next biggest candle in control. That's the point of interest right there. And if it ends up maintaining momentum, and that's if this double bottom even works out. It might not. It might just trend down. But if it picks up momentum at that point, you can trade on momentum on a 1-minute chart and run this gap as your extension target. So the gap would be about 315.50. So let's see what that looks like on a 1-minute chart right now.
Interesting. UVXY is going sideways.
So that control bar is right in range. Still on a 1-minute chart even. So watch for a little shake here and a 1-minute push above that 8 period. And we want to see this form a double bottom here. Like I said, it might not, but we don't have to trade if we don't see the setup we like. And that's where you look at a chart, you develop a trade plan, and if it doesn't meet your plan parameters, don't trade it. Come up with a new plan or Find something else to trade. That's all you can do. Let me put my future chart back on the top here. There we go. At some point, I'll stop talking and start trading more.
I'm still watching to see what this drop does here. What time is it? 10:18.
It wicked to 405.56 there.
Yes, it did. That was a wick.
And it was
That was a wicked wick.
40.58 on our 10-second chart. Our target was
405.52.
40.60, so we still got unfinished business there. Looking at this, we see this little megaphone pattern here.
What's
And
going on?
horizontal megaphone patterns will always break. And it's just a range expansion that we see here.
All right, so Bullard, I lean more strongly to a 75 basis point hike. I don't know what time he said that.
I thought that was yesterday.
They're speaking again today. This
It.
whole week, this whole next week, this week and next weeks are all crazy. With the FOMC and, or is it the FMOC? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Friday for sure, huh?
Yeah, it's a Friday, and then also it's a 0 day. So I've been taking pictures of these 0 days.
Let's see, fear greed index tipping just on the edge of fear from neutral.
Yeah.
I never trust those all the way. I just trade the chart that's in front of me, guys.
Okay. Where are we?
Oh, hey, I got some comments on the YouTube channel here. Hang on a second.
Don't
So
believe
4
me.
little stupid trades, made $190. Quit for Friday. Nice work. Good deal.
Interesting 5-minute candle.
And for some reason, oh,
Get a 15.
Devin was reaching out to me. He said he got 2 of the videos uploaded, so we'll get some of the highlights from yesterday up soon enough. All right, so we got this megaphone pattern. It's at the top of a leg that was a measured move with extension. We can watch for a break soon. The other thing that can happen though is we can get yet another diamond. So let's see how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, it looks like a diamond on the 2 minute, the 1 minute too, huh?
Kind of does on the 10-second.
Well, let's see now. See what she's gonna do here. You got it's a 2 minute chart too, so I got double bottoms on my indicators. Not necessarily on the chart, but when I have double bottoms on my woodies, that's I pay attention.
We can set up a diamond here too.
This looks, yeah, it does. See if it's gonna pop or if it's gonna go sideways.
And Ford is in flag mode all of a sudden. It did make that push to 1570 with the wick. It's accumulating here. This is our measured move complete. If you are long on options here, you might consider taking your profit before this consolidation completes, because it might just flush out here and run down to support about 1540. Yeah, there goes our breakover. Let me mark that. This will be relevant later.
Be relevant. Let me get out of this.
And I'm going to build a wolf wave right here on a 10-second chart while everybody watches.
Wait, I'm going to see, because are you going to build a real one or are you going to build your kind?
This is a real one, and they're relevant on a short-term chart like this, but oftentimes they'll set up a trend later. So
Jeremy has a way of drawing a wolf wave with one line, and it's great, but you got to learn the full thing first.
Yep. So the way the wolf wave works, and I'll probably verify this with the 5-minute chart on SPY later, but on a 10-second chart, it's iffy. So draw it. If it respects the trend there, you can run that trend, and later on it'll be relevant. go to the first high. So we got the first high here. All right. Actually, that was a trend, so that makes sense. First high is here, and you want to draw a line from the first high, and this is for a bearish wolf wave, to the second low. So first high, first low, second high, second low, right? So we want to set that line up like this. That is a bearish wolf wave. First high, second low. You know what? Just because it's going to be purple.
Now I'm watching the 10-second chart because I'm fixing to end the trade.
Though, there we go. The purple wolf.
I did the strangle last night, yesterday afternoon.
Nice. Worked that out this morning?
Huh?
Awesome. Yeah, walk
Yeah.
through that.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, no. I'm just sitting there. I'm so out of it. I did the strangle last night or yesterday afternoon. And, you know, where I went out and I found I did a 415 call and I did a, where is my, and I did a 382 put. And I did the put on the 12th and I did the call for the 14th.
Okay.
Because I found them at that price that I liked.
Right, right.
And this morning when I saw, I waited to see what we were going to do. And then I cut my loss quick because it wasn't that expensive. I just did one contract each.
Mm-hmm.
So I cut my loss. I think I lost $7 on the other one. But
Nice.
I'm getting ready to, let me do this.
Here's that break.
I wasn't paying attention. That's why I don't like to moderate and trade at the same time.
I know. It's rough.
I was like, oh, I should have got out a minute earlier. So basically what I did was I just had 150% return on one call that I bought yesterday. And it takes me a second. I'll come back to it. You go ahead because I've got to look for stuff and I'm just a little hazy here still.
Sure. So essentially, he put a little bit skewed, so it was 2 different expiration dates. Ideally, they're the same date, but they don't have to be. If you find the sweet spot carries on with slightly lower delta at a later date, that's fine. Especially if it has a little bit more possibility to go and extend to that price of your strike later out. The idea is we gapped up overnight on SPY, so he immediately sacrificed the losing put, closed it, and then if he's still holding the call right now, he'd be considering taking profit on it. The idea is that the loser lost much less than the winner made. So the winning position probably made probably closer to about $18, I would say. And
made more than that. The winning position was 150%.
There you go. So
if 150%, and I spent $31 on it.
Nice.
I bought one contract for $31, and the other one I spent less than that on the put. And the reason I went with that put was it had a better ratio. I thought a better delta, and it was a better price than getting the same day. The same day was a little more expensive.
Right.
And I did it looking at all the sentiment, thinking I really felt, or what I saw was I thought we were going to be more bullish today, and we were.
Oh yeah.
So
no argument
I thought it'd be more bullish. So I actually spent more money on a better call, and I took the put because I know that the put, if it weren't, and we went south, then I'd have made money on that put.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other thing is.
So I don't know that I explained it right, but because of the system that I use with charting on TOS and using the options ladder on Webull, and buying and selling on Webull, sometimes when I go to put it together, it's like, oh wait, I got to go here, and it's a little complex. Not everybody can do it, but I'm a little I'm a little different. So
Yeah, you're like a hybrid. See, you've got the what is it? The jot now? Is that what we're calling it?
mm-mm.
Or is it
Oh,
scotomy
the
still?
jigsaw.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The SIG's in there too.
That's right. That's right. That's actually really cool. Oops.
Yeah, I got my name in there too. It's really James, uh, Jeremy, because I use a little of James's VWAP. I told you I was up late. I can't speak. I didn't drink, I promise. And you see, now I'm kicking myself in the butt because I should have held on to my call, but I didn't want to take the risk of it going
Right.
further. But now I can get back in.
And that's the other cool thing is like if you were to re-enter this strangle to hold over the weekend, not saying you should, but
Right.
if you were to buy back the same strikes and the same expirations, it does not count as a day trade. So as long as you held them overnight, you bought them the previous day. If you're doing this in an account that is susceptible to PDT, like a Robinhood account or something, if you sell an option the next day and then buy the same contract back, that does not count as a day trade. So if you're intending to hold it overnight again, you can get away from a day trade as well. Or if you bought them back and re-entered the strangle a leg at a time, it would account for 2 day trades if you did day trade those. So instead of being 4 and blowing your account out or locking your account up, it would be just 2. Someone was saying something and it cut off. Sorry. Whoops, I got another comment in the voice options channel here. Let's see.
Okay, now we look. Where are we? What do we have here? Pardon me.
Anytime, guys. And I've got a lot more articles in it. You know what? I'll probably just.
Looks like a Busby.
I'm going to copy paste all of my article links into our Discord
Is that
channel.
a Busby on a 1 minute?
Does
that look like a Busby or is that just a diamond top? It's like a big pennant.
On the 1 minute chart. This whole thing?
Oh, wait, let me go to. I'm looking at SPY.
Yeah, the Busby's usually just 3 candles typically. So it'd be.
Usually just 3 candles. Okay.
Right. So you're looking, if it was a Busby like this one here, 10, 16, 17, and 18, that candle combination, that was a Busby.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Get back to it. Looking like we got a little break over here. We're rejecting the upper band here on a 1 minute chart. I think we're going to walk this range one more leg back to center, and then we're going to start seeing some action here. We broke our diamond. This is starting to look a lot more like another consolidation point for possibly another leg. We can actually get a 3 leg here. Those are pretty rare.
Let me go and see if I can't put something up.
So we drew the bullish or the bearish wolf wave. Let's see if we can find a bullish wolf wave.
Yeah, so just two trades. I didn't do anything else, right? Just 2 trades today. Walking my strangle, and I'm up. I'm being casual, so I'm only up 29 or 30 bucks. Okay, but I'm up 30 bucks, and I just did 2 contracts. I just one up and one down, looking at the going into the close, and that seems to be working for me pretty well, actually. So I will eventually size up on that, but right now I've just been, since I don't like paper trading options, I've been just doing 1 contract on these things out. If I get stupid and I don't pay attention, I might do something wrong and hurt myself, and then I got to go back and fix it.
Right.
So but we're getting it, and I'm using now, if I'm scalping, I'm using that 10-second chart.
Yeah, that 10-second chart
to help me
money.
gauge. Yeah, it helps me gauge my entries. I see my setups on my other time frame, but that chart helps me, decide my entries. So that I can get a good entry. And I'm doing that. I'm looking at the frickin' MES data, scalping SPY options. How wild is that? That might not compute for some people.
It's It's quite a feat. I mean, once you get to that point where you can confidently scalp SPY options like that, and you make reasonable returns in short time on those options, especially if you're trading the right delta out of the money like I do. I look for that dollar shift more than anything. Love that percentage swing. If you get in,
I was over here trying to scroll your screen, Jeremy.
I do the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, oh, that charting, and I'm like, why won't the chart move over?
yeah, I love that.
Gonna
I'm
pop.
looking left, and I'm looking at this angular support from this previous diamond here. No wolf wave yet, but we're looking at a pretty clean trend break, and I think we're going to get a third leg out of this, at least a half measured move. So let's see what the rise is here. Let's call that 40.45 to 40.50. So a quick $5 move on the MES would take us to angular resistance right up there. And let's see, from the break, we might see 40.60 after all. And that is certainly in play on SPY here too, the 406 pivot.
4065's in play. I'm gonna show you.
On
right now.
extension? Yeah.
I'm gonna show you
Let's
what
see
I
it.
did. We usually do this on Thursdays, and I draw this, or I do it in the lesson. We're gonna do it live right now.
Sweet.
This is what I'm gonna show you. Let's see. Where am I over here? I'm doing all right there. I'm in a trade, so I'm watching my stuff. This is a little complex to do. Here we go.
Man,
Boom.
I look.
And I give you the shadow box.
Nice. There it is.
You see it?
That is a very quick way to gauge a measured move.
That's on the 5-minute chart. I've looked at that move right there that we had, that first flag. I take it, I measure it, I duplicate my box, and then I set it down at the base of where I see the next flag starting.
Yep.
Gives me that, 60% chance I could be right, 40% chance I could be wrong,
So you're
or
looking
first vice.
at
But still, I got to take that, I got to go by my technicals and take that look.
Hey, gents, sorry, having a lot of audio visual issues again with that new monitor I got. I'm gonna have to
That
straighten
takes
it out.
time.
so it's like
Your TOS, I might have to find some YouTube stuff and send it to you. There's some TOS settings sometimes you have to do with monitors.
right.
And with
No,
If
I don't even have TOS up right now. It's all
Oh,
dashboard stuff. I got a giant new Samsung. I showed Jeremy
I
the
saw that.
Odyssey monitor. It's just caused me a lot of problems right now. I'm kind of mad that I got it, but I gotta call them and figure it out. But I did have a question about the strangle.
Sure.
So I thought you had to buy the strangle on TOS as one thing. I didn't know you could sell them as separate things and walk it.
Yeah, you can leg in one leg at a time, or you can buy the whole position at the same time. Ideally, I like to leg in because if I'm trading on quick short-term price action, I can build a cash cushion between the two, so it'll be a net profitable position from the get-go. And what that buys is a whole lot of time because time decay is still going to eat that. If you start with a cash cushion between the two legs, that'll give you plenty of time to let this shake out.
So you would buy the call first, and then you'd sell the put.
Depending on purely on price action. So and it's buying both legs. You don't buy one and sell the other. That's a different animal. In this case, you would buy one. You would wait for if you're looking at range, wait for a low, buy the call, let that run up a little bit, and then when you see a high in that range, buy the put. And the idea is the profit from that call, and this can work backwards too. You can start at the top and work your way down, whatever you're looking at. The profit that the call has made will be immediately trapped. So when you close that into a neutral position, the difference between the call and the put doesn't matter because the call has already made some profit. The cost on the put, if you're in the same delta that you started with the call, they will offset each other a little bit, but the losing side, say the price went away from you one way or another, the losing side will lose slower than the winning side will win. So what happens is if you get a breakout or you get a run and you're in a neutral position, if you opened it with a net positive position or net cash position or net profit position, and this thing just took off and gapped up out of nowhere, like Jay Powell picked up the mic and stepped up to the podium and started saying some stuff or something, and SPY started, throwing bars at you, you could literally, if you weren't fast enough to leg back out and sacrifice the loser, you could just close the whole position as a net positive or net profit and just get out of it, taking advantage of the really quick spike. Ideally, you'd like to think you could be fast enough to sacrifice the loser and ride the winner up. But I mean, if that just suddenly gets a bar up and then a quick bar down, you'd be throwing yourself into a bad position. So you'd be riding a loser, you'd be sacrificing a loser, riding the winner, and then before you could get profit on the winner, if it gapped back down, suddenly you're at a loss on both legs, and then you're in trouble. So if it's really rapid price action, close the thing net. If it's slow enough price action where you can gauge the range and swing in the range, leg out of it.
And so I forget which one do you want more of a move, the straddle or the strangle?
So the strangle is ideal for a setup where it's going to make a fairly sizable move, but you're not quite sure about what the direction will be. So in the first place, you're expecting volatility, but you're not sure what direction the price is going to trend. And the reason being is that you want to minimize your risk on the entry as much as possible, but you want to be able to take advantage of the move as much as possible with the minimal amount of risk. So if you leg into this thing, you build a little cash cushion, you get a little bit more time as time decay eats those options, because you're only like 3 to 5 days to expiration. The time decay on SPY options is very rapid in that range. It's rapid on all ranges. Even leaps are very quick to expire or to eat time decay on SPY options. But long story short, time's always against you when you're long options. If you can get an advantage of a neutral position and there's a big move coming, you can trade that move with such a minimum risk that even if you weren't quick enough to leg back out of it to maximize your profit, you could still close the entire position for a net profit.
That makes sense. So then the straddle would be, it's the one where it's less of a move, obviously.
Exactly. Sweet.
A lot of moving parts.
Gabrielle.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't with you that long this morning, but I gotta cut out. I plan on watching the YouTube playback later.
Right on. Yeah, it makes it.
That's the way to do it. Ask the questions and then watch the YouTube.
Exactly. It makes it easier to archive the information and be able to go back and look it over again. And then when you do, you can hit the pause button, go Google search something so you can get all the little details involved and read up on it, and then walk yourself through it.
Yeah, I had to do something before, so I paused it on your purple wave explanation and then came back and watched it.
Gotcha. So I'm going to throw that purple wolf way
That's
down.
the way to do it. That's what I used to do. I'd sit there and ask him a question over and over again.
Heck yeah.
Go back and watch the YouTube video and pull my charts out.
That's why we're here
It's
doing this.
you gotta pay money to get replay on things.
Yeah.
The TOS replay, the on demand sucks. And then you got to pay $45 a month on Tradeovate to get it, and TradingView does it as well. You got to pay a fee for it. But you watch the YouTube video of this stuff along with your charts. You go back and you follow along with the exact ETF or underlying that Jeremy's doing, and it's like having replay. You can watch the candles move and go, oh, look at that. It closed green, but boy, it looked red for 3 minutes. It's like you learn a lot.
That's it, man.
I mean, there's things to be had here, and there's many ways to trade. You can be real heady about it and calculate things, and that's great. If that's you, do it. I think the market's got a place for everybody. You can do like we're doing. This is a shade tree mechanic style. We're doing street style trading. We got our own names for some stuff, but we're using the chart, and we're just following along with it. So, or you could do like Sig does. Sig's a sentiment Sig's a sentiment fool, man. Not in a bad way. He's sentimental. He goes and figures that sentiment out a lot of different ways, and it's like, wow, that's cool, Sig. So I use a little of that. That's why I call the method I use the jigsaw.
There you go.
The ig is Sig.
But the biggest thing for me is just learning your guys' terminology. That's the thing is,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a little different. We throw
Yeah.
some very creatively invented words in there now and then.
Well, it's like when I worked for a company for a little while doing merchandising for the 3 years I didn't play music professionally, and in my life. And uh, the thing I learned is that we had another company that they went under, and so we got their employees, and they had to learn new terminology for what we did, uh, because they called one thing, and we called it another. So once you learn the terminology, you're right, that then you can figure it out. Sorry, our language is a little bastardized. We
Quite
speak
all right.
pig stock.
Well, that's well, you're in Louisiana, and you use the word bastardized. I know that word. I know what that means because it's such a blended culture. It's like you get words that are just not existent in either language, whether it's French or English. And they're just kind
Right.
of creative. And then you got Creole.
Oh no, Shad. Then you got the Kunas down there. They speak everything backwards. Yeah, I done told you a story.
Yep.
You fool.
Yep.
You better have a rice cooker if you're gonna live here.
Uh-huh.
All right, what do we got?
All right, so I'm looking at this in-phase energy here. We came down, made a 66% retracement of the bar we had from, let's see here, Wednesday. And we tapped it for support, so we might be getting that little double bottom pretty quick here. Let's have a look at that. Yes, watch this
We are
breach.
right up against that line, man.
Ain't it cool?
I'm looking at a different line. We got a volume profile at 405.98 for SPY. And we are like right at that line. If we can cross it, we can hit up to that low of 8222. That would be the next pivot I have.
And I extended the upper resistance.
406. Who was calling that this morning? Was it you?
That was me.
Mm-hmm.
Angular resistance on that previous diamond pattern, this accumulation. Look at that, dude.
Yeah, this is
right
now. Now listen, Jeremy. Tell me if I'm wrong or right on this. From what I've gathered, it's Friday. It's 10:45. We maybe have 15 more minutes of really good trading.
Pretty much.
Maybe to 11:30, but right now, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and that's typically what I'll do. So like I'm gonna start doing this a little more often, to where unless I see a really killer setup that I know I can nail really very easily without having to think about it while I'm live streaming and moderating, I'm not gonna trade as much during our videos. But that time from like about 11 to 1, where I get some time to myself, I'll be scalping the little chop that comes out of this as it starts to accumulate or do whatever it's going to do. But let's look a little further back here and see what the range looks like, okay? We've got pretty much a measured move after a measured move. This is already a third leg to that 406 target, right? Let me get this a little bit. You know what? Let's do it on a big screen. That's how we do it.
Come on. Come on, little fella.
All right.
Push,
so,
push.
Yesterday's diamond, angular support, right up to where we are now, right? How did I know? Here was our close yesterday. Okay, we had this gap up, accumulation. I was expecting this measured move last night because we popped out of a diamond pattern, and it was a diamond after accumulation, right? So let's look at this a little bit more. We had one leg here. This is leg 2. This is leg 3. We've got a very rare 3 leg here. I am fairly confident that this is going to pull back and at least hit a 50% retracement of this opening leg that we have total so far on a 5-minute chart, back to probably about 404.50. That would be the healthy thing for price to do. 3 legs are very rare, but treat it like you would a rising channel. Let's draw that out. run this as if it was a channel. And I'll throw those up in bold because I want to see them.
By the way, I did scalp to. I took 2 contracts that time.
Nice.
Right, I saw the pop. I didn't have the cleanest of entries, but it was still a good entry, and I'm going to tell you which ones I did. I did a 419 call that I got for 33 cents, and then I sold it for 36. I tried to sell it earlier. That's one of the challenges, with options and sometimes with Webull, is when I go to sell, sometimes it doesn't take my order quick enough.
Right.
And sometimes if I'm going up, I might sell market because I can get you sell in the strength. That's a whole nother thing, and that's
Yep.
when you want to buy it when it's when it makes that break, but then you want to sell it as it goes up. As it's moving up, that's when you want to sell it. You want to sell it into that strength.
Right.
So sometimes I'll do a market order with that, and I know it's not the best, but it works actually pretty good for me. Because I've discovered that when I'm seeing things right before they break, and I use that 10-second chart now, and I go, oh yeah, it's going to break, and then I'll get in.
That's so
And
great.
yeah, it is, and that's what we're trying to teach everybody here. So that's what I did, and then I sold it, but I'm still made $6 on those 2 little contracts. That could have been 60 if I'd have bought 10,
Hmm.
or somewhere around there.
So that's
Yeah, and that's how you build your account.
exactly, and that's the point. Like, if you think of even though you're still day trading, think of them in terms of swing trading. You're trading a swing, you're trading a trend, you're buying into strength, selling into strength, whatever you're doing. Looking at those smaller and smaller time frames, the little pieces of price structure within the price structure that you're trading, that's how you can maximize your returns on those positions. Is you can use the smallest, the 10-second chart, to take every bit of that move and know exactly when it's going to break over. So you're combining day trading skills with swing trading skills and using it to maximize your performance on your trades. And back when I was more into swing trading and a little less into day trading, like when I was first starting out, I literally started my Robinhood account with $5 and a free $4.50 share of CHK.
Watch for the push here.
I found an equity trading almost like clockwork, flat between 9 and 11 cents daily. I went and I bought the low, and I watched it for a while. I bought the low at like 9 cents, bought like 20 shares, really small amount of money, tiny amount of money. All right. Next day I sold at 11. I bought it back the next day at 9 and rinsed and repeated for days and days and days. Over 93 days, I compounded in this position about 4,000 shares, and then price shot up to like 35 cents. And I went and closed it just like that. That was my swing trading, but I was using daily price action to compound that position over and over and over again. Well, what I learned from it was I can use smaller increments at times, the daily price swings, just basic range, where you would ordinarily day trade this thing. And I used those intervals knowing where that range was, using a smaller term chart to plot my orders, and utilizing, instead of just taking a small percentage of that swing between 9 and 11 cents and say getting in at 10 and getting out at 11 or whatever, buying the swing, I was maximizing the movement.
She might roll here.
And that stuck with me later on after I started getting into being a lot more complicated. And here I am today trading futures. It's such a way to build your skill, learning how to use really, really small increments of time chart information to maximize your longer term holds, whether it's like you're holding on a 1-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, or daily chart, whatever it may be. Maximizing that on a really small chart is going to really pay dividends in the future. All right, so I built
Now, Jeremy, one question here, and again,
Sure.
I think this is just terminology. You are referencing a diamond top. What exactly is that? What do you consider a diamond top? Because I've got different ideas, and
So
I'm not
there's
seeing it in what you're looking at here.
so there's diamond tops, diamond bottoms, and anywhere you see a diamond, it's really a sign that you're going to expect a bigger move.
Okay, so you're talking about the lines that you drawn there. Okay, okay.
And and
Your lines are drawn from what?
so
The
here's a kicker for you before we even get that far. Seeing this as a diamond, most people wouldn't even think to put a line down here. You literally have to use your imagination and be like, okay, well, what's the scale of the height of this to the base of this? And I got this line hanging out in space down here. There's no price action touching it. It's mainly just
yes,
a mirror image of what I saw for the upper range, right? So
yes,
I knew I could put a line there, and I knew it would correlate with later price action, and it did. I mean, just before the close, it dipped almost to that. But I extended it into today, and that is our price target from the breakout. And
I guess I'm having trouble seeing it because you love your lines there.
oh, do I do? I can turn them off.
You didn't hear me laugh.
Yeah.
That's okay. No, I used to be just I still have one of my setups on TOS, and it's got more than you have, but
Yeah.
I
Sharp
am
D.
yeah. Okay, so I see the diamond top. At first, I thought you were talking about triangles because I trade on triangles a lot
And
because everything tends to form triangles.
Uh-huh.
in relation, this is just two triangles. They're just back to back.
Yeah.
Range
Yeah.
expansion.
Okay, so
range contraction.
you have a down triangle, and then we have the up triangle, another down triangle. But how did you said you broke out of, excuse me, you broke out of the diamond. Where did that happen on your chart?
On the angular resistance right here. So I drew the
You-
line down from the top, down through this bar here, and
Okay, so
that's when we
at
saw the breakout.
close, that last bar at close is what broke your angular resistance.
Right. And then
Okay,
it accumulated just above that previous high all
yeah,
through the night, right? So we had, even though we had this little pullback here, theoretically, if you knew this was going to be a measured move, you could have just bought a contract last night in the futures and just let it ride till the open and made a killing.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
yeah.
But essentially, what we look for is we find these patterns pretty frequently lately when we've had a volatile market. They're not always going to show up, but when they do, you know you can expect volatility. And going back,
I'm looking at a 5 minute. I can't see your time frame here. Okay, yeah, 5 minutes.
Yep,
Here.
this is a 5 minute. And let me go back to JPOW day because that was the killer move. Where was it? Okay.
Yeah, see, we just completed another triangle on the MES.
There's JPOW day right there. So let me put that in the center and go back to the 5-minute chart. So JPOW day was glorious. So, God, where'd that diamond go? It disappeared on me. That's not it.
It might be good if you made diamonds a different color.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal.
Maybe like a blue or something, like a blue sapphire diamond or something, you know.
I did have a color in there somewhere. It was here, but it disappeared on me. I'll look at it with the 15-minute chart. We can see it. So there was the diamond I marked out, and I did put a purple line down through that. All right, this was JPOW day. All right, that was the Jackson Hole day. It was so easy to find the price targets, and literally I extended the angular support from the range expansion part of the diamond down through days, and then I ran the extension from the angular resistance on the range expansion part of the diamond up to the next day. And then similar went with the resistance point, angular resistance on the top of the range contraction, and angular support on the bottom of the range contraction, and it gave us, I mean, almost precision idea of where we could expect not only the little pause on that trend right here on the purple line, it also gave us the extension, and it closed on that extension.
So you were able to call the move from 420 down to 4, basically.
Yep. And it was just, it was neat because like we traded the bullish move here into the close pretty readily. We got that real easy just by looking at that angular resistance. So that was where we traded that part over the day. And Stone actually entered a strangle on that day and killed this. I mean, killed it, because he was able to take profit on his call and then ride that put into oblivion, dude. It was glorious.
What was your percentage on that, Stone?
That was more than 200.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's and look, I just started trading options when Jeremy started trading futures.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I say it a lot, but I mean, I don't want to blow the guy's head up. He's really good. He's got Vulcan breath, so we'll say that. But,
Live long and prosper.
He's really good at this, and you're doing the right thing, man. Asking those questions. I was sitting here
Yes.
dancing. Somebody's asking the right questions. Thank you, because that's how you do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, like I said, a lot of it is just like I'm sitting there watching, a lot of these patterns you guys are drawing, calling them megaphone and everything else. I'm like, megaphone? What in the world is a megaphone? I'm sitting there because I've got all these other things memorized as traditional technical terms. So
wedges.
I'm trying to, yeah, exactly. Wedges, pendants, flags.
I think.
Yep.
It's all part of. Actually, a lot of this stuff comes out of price action trading. Just all the basics of price action.
Yeah.
Well,
we completed our our second triangle, up, down, up, down. Now we're heading back.
Yeah. I like the triangles. Yeah. Brooks uses those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you research definition of markets and futures, they tell you that the market makers are required by regulation to keep an orderly market, and thus triangles.
Yep. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. And when you start to see these diamonds, it's just like I said, it's a combination of two triangles. You got range expansion, range contraction, and this started out as a megaphone. We actually did a write-up on the megaphone pattern. If you hit your Google bar and search megaphone bullish bears, you'll pop right into it. It's great because it explains exactly the first half of this pattern, and then it goes and gives you the expectation of the outcome. So the other thing about megaphones is they're treated a lot like you would a channel. And I was going to break into this channel from what we see from here. This is the diamond that we had yesterday. Okay, there's our angular support. Nailed our price target. If we break over here, this is where it would break over, because if you treat this as a typical rising channel, most rising channels, you get three legs in those channels, and then they often, when they reject that center line, that's why I drew that center line in here, it also is just about to our target from the angular support of that triangle, in fact, or that diamond. In fact, if I skew this line just a little bit to match the 5-minute chart, it's even further out. But if I line it up with that closing candle,
so basically, once we hit there, it should drop.
Right.
Theoretically.
So, theoretically, you usually get a third leg in a channel, and then they break. So I would expect first target to be probably right down in the angular support zone here, and by the time price gets there, if you use your mind's eye to figure out time, distance, you can map it out. Hold your cursor over here. So about 404.50 would be the pullback target, and it's also a 50% retracement of this entire leg here. So when you get these rising channels like this, oftentimes they break bearish, and a descending channel will oftentimes break bullish. Sometimes they defy that and they just keep ripping faces off. But typically, they follow the rules. So we can at least expect a quick trade in here. We can trade on momentum bearish to that angular support. But if it breaks that angular support, what is our next notion here? Our next expected move is typically on a channel break going to be a 50% retracement. That takes us down to about 402.50. So right in this neighborhood here. It's about half the length of that rising channel. An extension down to the 66% retracement would be right on this key pivot that we set up at about 401. So if you're looking at just basic price action and everything else, you don't have to ignore it, but pay attention to what you're trading.
Sorry, Jeremy, I'm having trouble hearing you. Someone's got music playing.
Oh, let me see if I can find that one. Ether Elf, your mic is open. I muted that.
Thank you. There
I
you go.
I know a couple
No.
of us have kids, and it's hard to keep the noise down. But
It's still really loud.
so right-click Ether Elf in the Discord channel there, and then just hit mute. Oops,
Okay.
I
He's gone.
think they just left anyway. Sorry, no offense. We're not angry. We're just we want to make sure we're not interrupting a lot of neat information here. So even today on the 5-minute chart, I'm going to mark this out on SPY. There's another rising channel within this rising channel right here. There's your 1, 2 leg. Third leg reached the angular resistance from before, and now we're breaking. First target, 404.50, right in the middle of that channel. Cool, let me put this back in the grid format, and we'll get our futures chart back on there.
Shut you. What are you doing? Oh, dang.
And I drew that channel out on the 10-second chart here too.
You
It's right there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll run it. If it goes against me, it goes against me. Anyway.
Sorry about that, guys.
Let me get this on a 5-minute chart.
So we had 3 dojis on the 5-minute chart. Now we got this guy here.
Yeah, it's still looking pretty bearish there.
That is not wanting to really go past that 406, but I got that 405.98. That's a volume profile ledge.
We have some good. Let me see if I can post it in here. We had some really good stacked imbalances here, but now we're starting to get a positive delta divergence.
Oops, that just ran against me.
You, I like you. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, well, that's why I was trying to post that there because I heard you saying about going in, but we got positive delta coming in there right after we had all those stacked imbalances.
Right. This wedge just retraced back to angular resistance. Now we're testing it. Let's see if it breaks back down or if this goes back in the channel up to that previous angular resistance from the base of our diamond pattern from yesterday.
Let me.
I might have to flip my order here. Dang it. I wanted to catch that break. Got yapping. Totally forgot what I was doing.
Well, it gives you a chance if you want to go with the second lot here.
Yeah, I might be able to reverse it. But it might break back here because it's just testing that 8 period here on the 1-minute chart. It might back down. If it doesn't, then I'll just close it for a loss. Come back later.
You went short, and that's almost a Tootsie Roll looking thing there on that 5-minute. Almost.
I sees it. There we go.
Needs to respect my box. It's not respecting my box right now. I'm not happy about it. Got close to my box.
Whoa.
Actually, my box might be off. That's why I would never take profit at the top of the box. I'd take it right before.
Ah, okay. Let me adjust the volume a little bit there. Thanks for the heads up on that. Got a message on our YouTube channel. That better? Hopefully that's better.
Your volume's still lower than everybody else.
I've noticed that. It's. I talk softly and carry a big trade. I'm kidding.
I've got to get used to trading the 10-second candles. They're not. The profit spread is a little bit different on them than a 1-minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are quick. I'm still working on it.
Well, it's not quick. For me, it's actually going a little bit slow, and I think it's because I'm used to trading NQ and MNQ.
Right.
That may be more.
Last night, after hours, I was actually trading a 25-tick chart. Let me show you what that looks like when the market's open.
Man, why? Because it was slow?
It was just the action was so slow, I couldn't see any structure in it. But then I put on a 25-minute, 25-tick chart. Yep, I was able to run it.
Really?
Yes, sir. And
that's good information for folks that trade after hours.
Yes.
Because if you can see structure and form, then you can trade.
Absolutely. And even now, like price action's slow and grinding over, it's that time of day where it slows down. You can go and run that 25-tick chart even in the middle of the day. If you tried this in the morning, it would be psycho. See how fast that little move right there was? Try and trade that structure. Doesn't quite do that in the after hours typically. It's usually a lot smoother.
Here's the I'll go ahead and post these here. Here's the absorption levels that we're looking at currently.
We're seconds there.
I gotta get used to this. The absorption levels. I like that.
Well, the absorption levels, like the two top red ones and the two bottom where they have 0, those are the absorption levels. That's where the market order, or not market, the static orders are set.
Right. And yeah.
So
you know
once you break those, and you have a strong delta divergence, you will go in that opposite direction. You will go in that direction of the break.
Where are you posting those, Paul?
Well, I think I posted it in watch list. My bad. Yeah.
My volume profile just failed on me again for TradeObate for some reason.
Mine's there.
Because I meant to put it in chat options futures, but I just clicked on the one group above it and I didn't even pay attention. Watch list. All bad.
It went in watch list?
Dude,
yeah.
I like what you're doing. I like it. I'm at a point, it might learn a little from it. I've got so much in me, and just like you, it's like learning something new right now is kind of a challenge. It's like,
yeah,
I can see it this way. I'm going to have to look at it.
Well, I'm trying to stick with what I'm comfortable with, but trying to incorporate what I'm learning here.
Exactly. That's you just said what I tried to say in a sentence.
Yeah.
I
tell you what, man, I slept in today. I don't normally do this, but I slept in till like 8:30 today, and I woke up and my head felt like it was like swollen. It was just literally my brain was so tired from everything that I went through yesterday.
I was, yes, yeah.
Oops, let me get the.
It kind of reminded me of when we were learning Portuguese.
There we go. That's a tough language, brother. For an English guy, it is anyway. All right, I went ahead and moved those.
Once you learn Portuguese, you can learn any of the other languages because it's considered the bridge language.
Right.
Between all the other Latin languages.
There we go. Ordinarily, moderators are only supposed to be able to post in the watch list room. Not matter anything. Just like somehow the somehow it.
Well, I'll keep an eye. I didn't realize that the watch list.
How you were able to do that? Because
usually. Yeah. No worries. I'm not mad. I'm just saying. So I moved those two images you shared into the chat here, and I deleted them from the watch list room. All right. So I pulled up an ES chart instead of an MES chart because, but look at this. You can see, I was showing you guys these yesterday towards the end of the day. You can see where all the market maker orders are hiding. Plain sight.
That's what those lines are. The green.
Yes.
Threads.
So, yes. So check it out. They're usually at whole $5 increments in the volume profile, but they don't necessarily show up on the MES because they're not really screwing with the MES. They're riding the ES. So 40-50, quick target, but watch what happens when price gets one tick away from that. And hopefully we'll get an example because this will be really cool to see. Look at the next.
I don't think it's going to really break out because we had 3 stacked imbalances, but they're 2 ticks apart. So
right.
Typically they need to be 3 stacked imbalances with a minimum 1 tick between.
Right.
You mean break to the downside, break up the upside?
Yeah. Here, let me. Here, I'll screenshot this here so you can see it. That's where I wish I was able to.
Jeremy does it too. Jeremy will say, "All right, we're looking for breakout," but
right.
I forget you can't see my screen.
Right. Whether it's
so here we had started to break out, but you can see we had delta divergence. So the red stacked upon the green. Here, the one candle, we had the 3 stacked imbalances, so the 3 red numbers, but they were separated by more than 1 tick. So that told me that we're not most likely going to break down. And then, sure enough, the next one turned to full green delta. And then we ended up getting stacked imbalances on the green side as well. So
right.
that confirmed that we're going to reverse. Yeah, I've really come to like footprint charts. This is what market makers watch. This is how they trade.
Yep.
you need to be here every day.
I agree. We like this guy.
I'll try to be.
Absolutely good stuff, man. No, that's the thing that makes us a great community is that we get all this knowledge together. Unlike you're sitting here explaining stuff that we don't usually pay attention to, and at the same time you've got questions and stuff we're looking at, and that's great because it puts all that knowledge in one place for everybody to get it, and that's the whole idea of what we do.
See, so now our absorption level is 4,052, and upper band is 4,061.25.
Right.
So those are the levels I'm looking at now.
So I'm looking.
We're not getting. We're just not getting a heavy volume is the thing.
Right. It's very low volume. Like
It's 11:13 on the 0 day.
you could literally watch that 25
Now,
tick chart and see that low volume structure.
Explain to me how you're defining a 0 day.
Day is an expiration day for.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
We
Yep.
have 3 of them a week. Monday, Wednesday, and for the S&P, or at least for SPY, I should say.
Yep.
We have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And 0 days, especially Friday's 0 days, your volatility and your movements tend to happen in the morning before 11 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, and that's why I said at 11 o'clock, I said, oh, look what time it is. We're getting to that point.
Yep.
This time of day on a 0 day, my observation is it slows and goes sideways. And then
Yeah, no, I'm used to it just being the expiration day. I've never heard it called 0 day personally.
Right.
So that's what I was curious
So-
about there.
I've never been anywhere except Bullish Booth. Only community I've ever been a part of. When I learned about trading, I came here. This is where I came to learn live and everything. So all my terminology is BB stuff. So if Jeremy screws
Oh, that's
up,
fine.
if it's screwed up, it's Jeremy's fault. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Now that chart there, that was the 1,000 tick. Let me switch back to the 15 range, which I tend to prefer.
There we go. Sorry, I'm replying to messages.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of them. So yeah, very cool.
There we go.
So
There we go. I prefer 15 tick.
let me run back to that ES chart. I was looking at that ledge. Oh man, it's the only thing that bugs me about Tradeovate. Sometimes you gotta go and readjust when you switch products. Finally got my volume profile back though. That's good.
There we go.
So this order here, and you look, there's a market maker order right here at 40.50 and one at 40.55. Okay, so we just topped, we came down, visited 40.55. That wasn't there just a minute ago, and then they pulled it. So now they're going to allow it to move to the upside. Where's the next leg? There's a order right there at 40.60. There's one at 40.65. All these volume orders that you can see stacked out, that's where they are. So what do we get from that? Well, a lot of people trade order flow, and they'll look at the just the order book and watch it stack up and down, and you're kind of seeing that on those images you got there. It's essentially just order flow.
We're starting to get stacked imbalances to the positive side here.
Right.
High delta 15,129.
4071 is in flex.
Yeah, I see that.
Yep. But we have to break 4065.
Yep.
4065 is the green absorption level.
It is. It's also
Yeah.
the
And
box that I do that's in the chat.
Here, I'll let me
Go look
snap
at
this
that.
for you here.
Go ahead.
Here's the current absorption levels.
so
Wow. We're getting to the same place. This is
exactly.
great. Different
Well,
ways.
this is actually a bot I have set up. It's a script I have set up on my Ninja that automatically charts all this for me. So it'll readjust it in real time.
They allowed that 40.60 order to fill. You can see the volume bar stuck way out. So that's where we got that little spinner.
Very stacked, but we're still inside the channel.
And the idea is you watch the next $5 increment down here at 40.55. I don't see an order there, but I do see an order down here at 40.50. I don't see any orders above except for a small one here. And when you see them on an odd number like this, where it's not a $5 bill, oftentimes they'll bait retail into that. They'll put an order there and they'll jerk it off the book the moment it gets within a tick of that thing.
You see how I just used shapes there to figure that out?
Yeah, that was the third leg.
But what's really cool is the
Yes.
And so this is building my confidence. Thank you, Paul.
Absorption just dropped to 452.
Awesome. And that 40-50 order is still sitting there.
Now we could go below those spots. I got levels down too. So
Yeah.
449. I'm looking at the SPY particularly. I've got a lot of levels down too. So
I switched over to the 15 range just so you reference that stone compared to the other charts.
on the EMA.
No, on the ES. I'm looking. Those
There we
footprints
go.
are on a 15 range.
So I'm going to watch
The
this.
other charts were on a 1,000 tick range.
I see. Okay, cool.
So I'm watching the ES for those levels, and I'm watching that 40-55 order isn't really there. That 40-50 still hasn't moved. In fact, they added to it.
Delta just flipped green.
So here I am taking on my MES position. I'm in profit now. I'm up to like $10. So I'm watching for this candle right here. And at 40.53, you'll see that little order. Watch it disappear above it. They'll stack it up.
Now, when you say Delta turned green,
Boom.
does that mean got a bullish sentiment?
Yeah. No. The down at the bottom. Okay. You have. I'll have to see if I've got a whole PDF that goes through and explains it in a good, concise fashion. But the green and the reds at the bottom shows the first one is your delta. The percentage is how much more the delta was than the inverse. So you had 400 and well, let me look at that one. What is that one? I can't see. 411% more buy orders than you had sell orders. Now, when you get a delta divergence, it's when you get a red on top and a green on bottom, or vice versa. So those also tend to indicate a coming move. So, and that, I mean, that's just a nutshell. There's a lot more to it than that. But, oh, what was that wink?
That
Yeah, well, we broke through.
Yeah.
We broke through 40.52, but we only have two stacked imbalances.
they're letting it flush to
It's
40.50.
Yeah, but they're doing it very slowly. They're not.
Nope. If you look at the little short order stacks on the book here, like the red and green is where you're seeing the book. That 40.50 hasn't moved, but they'll go and they'll put an order up there. It's like a sucker's bet essentially. They'll put an order up there, and then just before it gets to there, they'll pull the order off the book. So they'll cancel the order, and they'll let it run down. Well, anytime you see them below price, it's the same way. So it'll basically magnet. You'll watch the smaller orders. Retail's chasing it. Yep, retail chases it.
Works.
Exactly. And then you jerk the order, boom, they'll let it go lower. And that's exactly what you're seeing in the volume profile. You're seeing Bookmap just in a way that's just as a graph instead of seeing all the numbers and stuff. You'll know where they're at just by looking at the price, where those orders sit.
Yeah, well, that also explains why, and if you ever watch the ask and the bid, whenever you get on a certain dollar mark, if you get like a massive bid, typical thought is that, oh, it's going to shoot up. But the thing is, if you get a high number in the bid, that means that the price is going to go down.
Right.
And vice versa. People think, oh, there's a 500 lot on the bid, so it's going to go up, so I'm going to go long. Always the inverse happens.
And when I saw it tap that 40.55, I thought maybe it would break out here, so I closed my position. I still closed a small profit on it, but my bad entry turned into a profit. I just had to sit here and be patient.
I put that picture
Yep.
up so you can see that 404.90 line that it wicked into. I was going to watch to see. That is a previous VWAP. And so I was going to watch and see what it does here, because this is going to tell me a lot. If it was going to break down through that, and if it broke down through that strong, that would give me an indication that it's going to go back down to like 453 and maybe back retest the Globex high, which it still could.
I don't know why.
But those pivots, and also the red bar above that one, is that's a control bar that I was talking about previously. Now it broke through that control bar. If it goes back through that control bar again, it might blow up a little bit, go over the top and fake us all out on the 0
Right. It's already done. Good deal. Forward breaking south. Heck yeah, I love this.
It's a lot like music theory too. The music theory is you don't have to know music theory to play music. You play all by ear. I know some guys who know nothing about music theory except very small knowledge, but they play like Tom Clancy. And I know guys that know, everything about music theory, and they play 10,000 chords to three people.
Yeah.
And then guys like myself and other guys are a little bit of a hybrid, where I know both music theory and ear. But the more theory I learn, with the knowledge I already have, creates more nuances, and it makes me a better player. So in that same way, learning, having Paul in here today with a whole different way of looking at things, bringing in these other styles,
Exactly.
the style of strike action we have, and being able to read the chart that we do, when you add those two together, that gives you another edge.
Absolutely. Just to kind of give you guys a warning, I got to knock off in about 5 minutes here because I got to get ready for the money.net thing. I'm gonna try to get a link from those guys so I can share it with you guys. But they've I get the feeling they're keeping me behind a paywall, darn it. So I might have to have a talk with them about that. But I'd like to be able to share things I say in those videos with you guys because I always drop a little knowledge with them. But then again, for trade alerts and stuff, I'm typically giving them stuff we already know about. So I'm keeping you guys ahead of that just to give you a little more value. So I'm not giving them anything we don't already know. So, all right. So to kind of conclude our day here, let me get the futures chart off of this one. I'm pretty much done with that, except for that little double bottom's about to break out and run to target 2. Hey, this will be a teaching moment. Let's just do that instead. Bottom 1, all right, low 1, H1, low 2, breaking resistance. There's your entry. Where's your target? All right, first target right here to the base of this candle, 40.56.75. Next target, 40.57.50. Peak target if it gets to the extension, all the way up here, 40.59, maybe a wick to 40.60 can be expected, but let it test the support zone here first. I'm going to draw that out as quick as I can. Sometimes I draw these and they happen long before I get them drawn. My favorite thing to try to do is to try to draw these and trade these and teach these while they're happening. Boy, that's tricky. On a 10-second chart, come on. But watch that 8 period. Watch this price action. This is the candle you're looking at to break out of this little wedge. Absolutely. Here comes that target push. These double bottoms are awesome, but also you want to know where they are. So let's zoom out. This is in a bearish trend generally. The idea is you're looking at a 50% retracement for your target. It just wicked right to that target 1 right there at the top of that bar. The extension will be up here. If you're watching my crosshair on the screen there, the extension will be right up here about 40.57.75. That's your target 2. But if you're looking at the long-term trend and it's bearish, know that this is typically going to be a point where you can also take a bearish trade on the breakover. So when this breaks down, it hits one of these targets and rejects, that's when you can get short on it. But if you got long on the resistance break. This little scalp here, you make 5 or 10 of those a day, and those little base hits just add up. It's like, anywhere from like $2 to $6 depending on what the size of the range is on the pattern. They happen all the time. These double bottoms are just money machines for me. So look at this next extension. Where's my cursor there? Right there at the next bar, 40.59.25. If we're riding momentum, your hand is going to be hovering right over this exit button because these are so quick when they break over. As soon as they break that 8 period, just hit that button. Don't even sweat it. Even if it bounces off of it with a bar to the 20 period like it did here, you took some profit. Right here, just a little 10-second double bottom right there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
If that closes to Morningstar, which that would be a good
Yes.
Bulls are coming back. You break that 405.72, 405.98. I got that one above it. I need to go find some more levels.
All right, here comes that 40.59.50 push.
In case they're just, but it could be a trap. So
It could be. But look left on my screen here. If you see that 1 minute chart, that's about where that 50% retracement of that third leg down there is. So if you're exiting, this is your exit right here. That bar. Boom. You took profit.
oh no, wait a minute.
You made your scalp, or you went bearish here. You can hit that.
2 hour.
You can hit that reverse button and get that profit from the ride up, and then flip it to a bearish position for the ride down.
Village 2 hour.
2 hour SPY.
Yeah.
All right, let's get that up on the main screen, Captain.
See what you see.
Let me turn the lights off. Big old double bottom, ain't it?
Look at that.
All right.
See in that red control bar to the left where we're even with right now?
Yep, that was your
That's
target
the
one.
control bar I keep talking about.
Target 2 extension.
Yep.
406 and some change. 406.20. I think I mentioned that in the pre-market before we started trading here after the bell.
Oh, I was not in the pre-market, so I was looking at this earlier.
I was
But look at that. That's pretty. So
I was
I got
I was pointing out that 406 target, and then I said it can get an extension with a wick probably to like 406.25. That's what I was looking at.
yeah. Let's see.
That's where I get those.
Let me go look at this.
But I do gotta call it quits here. I gotta eat something.
Look, you get so busy. So
Sometimes you could just sit here and forget to eat. You could be trading all day. If it's a volatile day like we had with Jackson Hole, dude, I was just like, I pulled open my candy drawer, said, "What do I got?" Yeah, I got some party mix. Cool. Sitting there munching on that while I was trading. Hell with lunch. If there's money to be made, there's money to be made.
this is where I wait to see the second candle or the next candle after the morning star.
Yep.
I've seen morning stars, fail miserably, but usually they do that when they pop up like, they're at the top of a trend or it's going sideways and you get a morning star. Yeah, that's in context is where it matters. The bottom of a channel.
Right.
That's where it matters.
So here was that play in a nutshell. There's your 50% retracement target. It failed. Descending channel. We were expecting to at least get a 50% retracement. We didn't quite get it. Well, actually, you know what? We did. Let me.
Flag on the 30-minute too, so I'm just checking things out, folks.
Halfway from here to here is here. So yeah, we did hit that 50%. Boom, we broke over.
Okay, and the other thing about technical analysis like we're doing that I've learned, Jeremy, is it forces you to relax and slow down and look at the big picture.
Yes.
Because I know personally, see that morning star, you see why I wait?
Yep.
I know, but we still have 3 minutes on that candle right there. So, I want to see it print. That sucker could all of a sudden turn into a wick and or go the other way and end up like a dragonfly doji or something, or another hammer.
Right.
You got to wait, but it forces you, and what at least for me, it makes me really think clearly, because once I enter a trade, sometimes I have to remember what Devin's always telling me. Stone, breathe.
Breathe. Yeah.
You're right, because I hold my breath. I'm in a trade, I'm going, and then you stop breathing, and then you got to drink water too. By the way, water is very
Yeah.
important for you to drink when you're trading, because it causes a certain amount of adrenaline and different things to happen in your body, and it depletes the water around your brain. So like it almost puts you in a crisis mode if you're not careful.
Yes.
Especially if your trades are going bad. So I spent 20 years in ministry, and part of my job was crisis counseling, showing up on accidents and stuff like that, and that was one of the first things they taught us. And I learned my crisis counseling from several folks, including the Army. So I wasn't in the Army. So what I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying. I know what the hell I'm talking about. Drink some water.
Yep. Don't forget to breathe and drink some water. Good advice. All right, so
Older than most of you anyway. Listen to me, dadgummit.
right, I'm gonna sign off in a minute here, but check this out. We've got a diamond top forming up here on this 1 minute chart. It's evident on a 5-minute chart. And yes.
That candle. Look at that second candle. What did it do?
Mm-hmm.
Got red, went all the way down. And how many people, got out of a position or stopped themselves out because
Yep.
they saw that? And that candle still has a minute and 15 seconds left.
So I'll finish up my little double bottom here. I'm in overtime now, but there was that trend. Easy targets for the bullish move. All right. Traded the break over bearish. Where was your bearish target? First was the 50% line. Take that same line that you would get from R1. That was your target for a bearish move. All right. And you're getting the last chance to get the profit from that if you're still in that right here. But you can also look a little further left. We've got a diamond happening here. And that diamond oftentimes will run to the lower band or the lowest low in the diamond itself, test, and then rip a face off in either direction, especially when it came after a slightly bullish trend. So keep an eye out for that. That can be a trap for you. All right, guys. I got to sign off, eat something, get all prettied up for my my 12 o'clock interview, and you know what I might do? Crazy idea. I might just record the darn thing. Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm wearing this. This is my Pushing Premium shirt. I got it from Andy over there at Mighty Soldiers Trading. He made it for me. He brought my imagination to life. So if you want to hit him up, Andy at Mighty Soldiers Trading or Mighty Soldiers Trades, and ask him for a shirt. He'll hook you up. Might charge you a few bucks, but you get a really cool shirt out of it. It's just this creepy looking drug dealer guy. He's got his coat open and it's a bunch of spy puts, and it says Pushing Premium across the top. That used to be my handle back in the day. So it came out pretty cool. And at the bottom it says, "I got what you need." Yes, I was.
I didn't know your first name, and you had the robot up for your
Yeah.
profile. That was early on for me. Oh yeah.
That Bender chewing on a cigar.
Look, I just want to mention again the importance of waiting for those candles to print. If you notice that morning star we called out,
Yep.
said, look at the wick on that red candle. How many people saw, that morning star, and they got right in, and then they got scared and got out when they
Right.
went all the way down like that. And so we got that hammer or doji. Here we're heading back to 405.72. Let's see what happens.
So to point that out, here's that morning star. There's your bar, your hammer, your bar. That's a morning star. And then this is the candle that traded that. It's like an inverse Busby. So your range was open down to the low. And these trade in reverse typically too. You can go, if they go up, you can go bounce off support, ride it back up. This one was a bounce off resistance, ride it back down, quick bearish trade. That's where we saw that little double bottom on the 10-second chart. That little bearish trade, that breakover, that's what that was. That's why it's important to look at multiple time frames. All right, I'm really pushing the time limit, guys. I got to get going. Sounds like someone's doing some dishes in the background.
And it wasn't, no offense to anyone. You just
Nah.
Ninja. Okay, bye. Have a great day.
Snowbin' Mike. You too, man. We'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend. Trade safe, trade smart, and breathe. Drink lots of water. That's what we're parting with today, guys. See you next time. If I can end the stream now. There we go. Finally. All right. Time to go eat something.